Anyone, can European glory convince Rice to stay another season or two? Welcome to Friday Night Pint. Nicky will be along to join us very, very shortly. He's having a few technical issues, but me and Ryan will get you kick started on the Friday night. Hope we're all doing well. Ryan, how you feeling after yesterday, mate?
Yeah, I'll be honest, mate. I'm still on a little bit of a buzz. It was nice waking up this morning, even though even getting stuck on the A13 and not getting home till 1 o'clock in the morning couldn't get me in a bad mood last night. Honestly, I was come out of that ground. No, that's twice in a week now. I've come out of that ground, the Arsenal game and last night, and yeah, it was just nice to see all the fans coming out as well, and everyone's singing. Like you see all the kids walking past singing, and as I said last night on the match review, I know it didn't go up because we had an issue with the SD card, but it felt a bit like last season. These last two
Mm-hmm.
games, Arsenal and last night, it felt a little bit like last season. Everyone was in a good mood last night. And I know that there was a good crowd there last night, but there'll be an even bigger crowd there for the semi-final. It'll definitely
Yeah,
be sold out. Them boys needed us last night to get behind it. We needed them to put on a performance. They needed us, and we both come together and we made magic.
exactly, mate. Exactly. It was a match made in heaven, weren't it? Last night. The good thing where we haven't got the reaction up while we're Nicky's trying to sort of stuff out. We can probably touch a little on the game last night. What a performance, weren't it?
Yeah, mate. Honestly, I watched the highlights again today. I've watched them 2 or 3 times, to be fair. And every time I see that Declan Rice goal, it gets better and better. And you know
Yeah,
what I loved about it as well? It was the passion in the celebration. You know, he dropped to his knees, and you can tell how much that meant to him. You know, and the rest of the team as well. The way they huddled around him,
yeah.
and it was just an all round great team performance. And I actually we was that good last night. I forgot that we went 1-0 down. I did. I really did. I forgot we went 1-0 down, and it was just a perfect all round performance.
Yeah.
And even when we went 1-0 down, the crowd didn't get on their players' backs, and you know it G'd them up, and we got the win. It was a great performance.
I think that that draw against Arsenal, coming back the way we did against Arsenal, gave I think everyone in the crowd and probably the players as well a lot more belief. The fact that we done that to the team that was sitting top of the well, still are at the moment sitting top of the Premier League, to come back the way we did against them. Going 1-0 down, you sort of if we go back 2 months ago, you're sitting thinking, "Oh, this is done. This is all over." But I don't know. Coming off the back of that, I just feel that it just gave all of us, even the players, just another newfound belief that we've lacked this season. It was so good to see.
It's not only that, Scott. Things in the last few games are starting to go our way. You look at the
Mm.
winner against Fulham, the own goal. You
Yeah.
know, you look at the Saka penalty miss. You know, things are starting to go our way a bit. And
Mm.
and and I said it last night on the match reaction is that we're starting to turn it in the business end of the season. I know we're still down the bottom of the Premier League, but if we get a good result on Sunday against Bournemouth, I think that sort of keeps us up, and
Yeah.
then we can have a real crack at this European competition. And I know there's still a lot of fans out there that don't take this competition seriously. Look, not many players win trophies in their career. So many thousands of players have come and gone and never won a trophy. You look at Harry Kane, not won nothing at Spurs. You know, there's a lot of players that don't get a chance to play in a final. And whatever you think of this competition, it's still a European trophy. And I think it's
Hmm.
what we need as a club. I think it's what the fans need, the players need, and look, even David Moyes needs it, you know,
Yeah. Yeah.
and that's what I want. I want when David Moyes leaves the club in the summer. I said it months ago that I want him to leave, and I want it to be on good terms where he's always welcome back at the football club. You know, if a West Ham fan was abroad and they see him, they'd go up to him and shake his hand and talk about the good nights and all that. Not go out on a low, and for him to win a trophy, it'll be massive for the football club.
Yeah. It'll be huge, like you said, mate. I think you know, if we were to win that and stay up, and he could walk away with his head held high. If he chose to do so, and that's the thing. It would be more on his terms than everyone else's at that point. But looking at last night, as you touched on Declan Rice's goal, what a fantastic goal! Do you think, as the title says, could this European glory convince Rice to stick around with the club a bit longer?
Well, you see in his interview after, mate, you see the passion in his the way he was speaking. He loves the football club. You can tell, and I think that the West Ham fans react to Declan Rice. That we all know he's going to leave the football club. You know, whether it's this summer or next summer, I personally think he's going to be this summer. You never know what can happen in the summer. New manager can come in, new owners can come in, and it can change. You know, Declan, we might get another year or two out of Declan Rice. I doubt it, but he's going to leave this football club with his head held high. The fans are going to love him. I don't think any fan begrudges him a move. You know, he gives everything week in, week out for this football club. You know, and for him to end his time at West Ham with a trophy, lifting that European Cup in Prague, you know, that'll be memories for life for him. And as he said, when he retires, he can look back on nights like last night and the European games last season. And I think that this trophy for him would be, if we do win it, would be his first in football. And it'll always be the most special to him, I think, because wherever Declan Rice goes, yes, he'll be loved by the fans where he is, but I don't think he'll ever get the love that anywhere that he does from West Ham fans. I really don't.
No, that's it, and that's the thing for me. And I've started this comment, but I'm going to put it up now. You know, this is comments like this that really annoy me a bit. You know, no one's going to abuse Declan Rice.
No.
You know, the guys. You know, he's been our captain this season. Look, things ain't been great, but he's a top quality player, and we know. You know, we're living on borrowed time. We all know that eventually he's going to leave this football club. And to be honest, if anyone don't wish him well with what he's given and what he's shown, and I think like you were touching on about last night, the character that he's shown, and the fact that a lot of people, including myself, have been a bit critical of how he comes across as a captain. But last night showed, and I said this a few weeks ago, that you see how much this football club means to him, you know, and that's something that for a player that wants to be out the door, he wouldn't show that. You know, you see the interviews he was doing last night, and look, I know they're paid to do that and they're trained to do that, but you can see the happiness in his face that they've got to a semi-final, that he's got this club to a semi-final. You know, I think a lot of people forget this club picked him up when another football club rejected him. So he knows that West Ham took a gamble on him. West Ham have helped him progress. West Ham have helped him cement himself into the England team. And West Ham will help him in the future go on probably to be one of the best midfielders that we've ever produced as a football club. You know, and I think he shows that. He shows that in his enthusiasm. I think he's learnt a lot this season as a captain, and he's grown as a player. And I think last night showed that a little bit.
Yeah, the thing is as well, mate. Like Declan Rice doesn't have to leave West Ham to be an England regular. He's an England regular already. He's a future England captain, and you know he will play for England for many years. You know, if he says this for trophies, if we win the Conference League, you know he's won a trophy, but he's got ambitions to play with the best players in the world at the top. You know, every season battling for the Premier League title, battling for the Champions League. And I've got no problem with that. I've got no problem with footballers having ambitions. Yes, it hurts when they leave your football club, but you get over it. I remember when Pint left, you know, everyone thought it was the end of the world. Same with Arnautovic. Oh, yeah. But you forget about these players. You enjoy the memories after you've booed them, but I don't think Declan Rice would ever get abused by any West Ham fan. You might get some. I mean, look, if he come back and scored and celebrated in front of us, that's a different outcome. I remember when Frank Lampard went to Man City and he scored against Chelsea. He didn't even celebrate, and the abuse he got from the away end by some of the fans that day. And he's a Chelsea legend. So you always do get one or two that want to spoil it. But look, no one would ever stop Declan Rice wanting to progress as a football player. And he wherever he goes in the world, he will always speak highly of West Ham. I've got no doubt about that. The only difference with playing for West Ham is that when you make a mistake at West Ham, it doesn't get highlighted as much. You know, he could play 2 or 3 bad games, but then he'll go on a run of form, won't get a lot of stick. When you play for the top teams, you don't perform for 1 or 2 games. You're in the world media, and they will. You see what they do. They want to ruin young English talent, and that's what happens.
Yeah.
They do that, unfortunately, and yeah. But I've got no doubt that Declan Rice can go and play anywhere in the world and be a success. He's that good, and it's been a pleasure to watch him grow from
Yeah.
playing as a nervous centre back under Slaven Bilic, you know, to making that mistake at Newcastle Way and getting dragged off at half time, missing out on a few games, but he's just knuckled down. You know, he moved into the centre of midfield, and yeah, and I'm just seeing the scoreline coming in that Southampton are 2-0 up. I mean, it's absolutely crazy. I'm smiling, but there are relegation rivals. But
Look, the thing is, mate, that's the mad thing about it. It's funny because it's Arsenal, you know, and I think to be fair, apart from meeting Arsenal fans, I don't think I've met anyone who, well, maybe some Man United fans that don't want City to win the league. I can't find anyone that actually wants Arsenal to win this league. So that's what makes it funny. It's great.
hey,
Hey,
here he is.
I think I've sorted it. Sorry, everyone. My head's disappearing a little bit, but thank you.
But yeah, Scott, as for last night, mate, I mean, the back four, Soufal, Aguerd, Zuma, and Emerson, I thought had great games. You know, like Bowen, but Bowen's getting back to the form that we know he can produce, and he was brilliant, you know, running up and down the line, you know, putting in the crosses. Antonio, you know, his second goal, it looked even better when I watched it on the replay when I got home, because where we sit, we couldn't see the angle properly. But great finish, and that will do his confidence a world of good. And it's starting to click at the right time of the season, and let's hope. Look, as we've been saying for weeks, if we stay out comfortably, win that European Cup, who's going to remember in 3 or 4 years where we finished this season? Everyone's going to remember we won a trophy. But I don't want to get too ahead of myself. We've got a semi to look forward to. Let's hope we can get it done over 2 legs. It will be difficult. This is going to be the best team we've come up against. You know, they had a good result last night, knocking out Anderlecht. You know, we could have done with playing Anderlecht because we've beat them twice already this season, and they probably would have been a bit better option. But look, it's football. If you want to win trophies, you've got to beat good teams. So yeah.
That's it, mate. That's it. You got to beat the best in the competition at some time, you know. So
I just got to put this comment up, Nick.
Oh, mate.
Have a look at this comment, mate. What was you doing this afternoon?
I was literally pulling up tree.
Literally, he rang me up earlier saying, "Have you ever ripped a tree stump out of a floor?"
Has anyone ever ripped a tree stump out of a floor, mate? That is hard work.
Yeah.
That is hard work. Hard work.
There's a reason why the ones that cut the trees down leave them there, mate. They don't want that. They don't want that job.
Yeah, exactly. They leave it to Nicky. No, Nick, we was just obviously the match review didn't go up last night, so we was just having a little chat about the game last night, and Declan Rice in particular. What's your thoughts, mate?
I love the man. I love him, and I know the title of this is "Can Euro Glory convince him to stay?" And I'd love to say it can. Listen, I think winning the Conference League in some of the states, some of the clubs are in that he's been linked with, I think he could stay for another year. But I think that depends on the club. I think that depends on whether West Ham want to keep him for another year. Because once you get to the last year of the contract, he's made it quite clear he's not signing another contract. He's made it quite clear. You know, he's resisted all the temptations to take the £250,000 a week that we reportedly offered him because he's made his ambition quite clear. Which I heard you say this earlier, Ryan, as I was trying to do. I've got no problem with that, you know, and I will fully appreciate Declan to the day I die. I will always remember Declan Rice because he is. And he gets a loads of stuff. And, you know, I've done a video on AFTV last week and they was asking me how good he is. And, you know, some people, they misinterpret what you say. And what I said is at 21, you know, the other players that we had, sort of the Defoes, the Joe Coles, the Michael Carricks, the Rio Ferdinands, the Frank Lampards that we had coming through our academy, that I was lucky enough, you know, I know Bobby Moore and all of that sort of thing, but I wasn't lucky enough to see them guys play. But and I can only go against when the players left us, because once they left us, the likes of Rio Ferdinand and Frank Lampard in particular went on to have world class careers and become world class talents. At the age they were when he left, at 21, in my eyes, in my opinion, Declan Rice was head and shoulders above any of them in terms of his development, in terms of the way he learns the game, in terms of the way he leads the team. The players that left us, they weren't really leaders when they left us. Rio maybe, but the likes of Frank Lampard, they were players. And I've always thought highly of Declan, and I've always said this about Declan in the sort of six years I think we've watched him play for West Ham. He never makes the same mistake twice. So that being said, can we convince him to stay? I think it all depends on who he wants to go to and who he's got his heart set on, and are they going to be the club that progresses his career forward and allows him to win them trophies. So, I don't think Arsenal would be a good fit for Declan Rice. I don't. I'm not going to turn around and say, he's not going to go to Arsenal. He could well choose Arsenal. It could. All these rumours could be true. It could already, but they're going on about Declan Rice. Listen, in all reality, they're losing 2-1 at the moment. I know they just scored, but I don't think Arsenal will win the league this year, and I don't think that the likes of Man United and Chelsea and people like that are going to be as bad. It all depends on who he wants to go to and who wants him at the time. I think he would jump at the chance to go to a Manchester City, or a Real Madrid. And people laugh at me when I mention these clubs in the same name as him. I think he would jump at the chance because he's guaranteed to win trophies here. I don't think going to Arsenal. Although, yeah, of course, Arsenal are a bigger club than West Ham. Of course, they've got more chance of winning a trophy than West Ham in the long term. Them top league. Can you see Arsenal winning the Champions League in the next 10 years?
Nope.
No, I can't. And, nobody could see it. Can you see Arsenal winning 5 league titles in the next 10 years? No,
Nope.
You couldn't. You could see Manchester City doing that. You could see the likes of even Man United doing that if they got their their thing together. So I think it all depends on who wants him, and this is a crucial point in his career. I think he's got to choose a club where he's going to play long term. Don't do what Calvin Phillips done and leave a Leeds with the world at your oyster to sit there on the bench. And I don't think Declan would do that even for Manchester City. But you have to choose the right club. Do they need him? Do they need a player like Declan Rice? Is he going to go? I'm not going to say he's going to go straight into a top team starting lineup, but is he going to be someone that's going to, long term play, week in, week out, be the captain? And if the answer is no, then he might as well just stay another year. He might as well.
Yeah, you are right. You are right in what you're saying, mate. The thing for me is I think he does walk into most of them teams, even City. Yeah, I know City, you've got Rodri and he's a very, very good player, but I just feel that a team like City having a player like Rice will make them even stronger. They'll adapt their system to fit him in there because he is that good a player and he will raise to that level. But I'm with you. If it's not the right fit for him, then there is that opportunity. But what I don't want is, like you said, is if he stays that extra year, then if he's going to stay, sign another contract, just so that he gets a bump in the money, but we then don't lose that value. Because that's the worry, him staying another year, then there's definitely only a year left on his contract.
Yeah, but would you? I mean, that would be the compromise, wouldn't it? What happens if you turn around and went, "I'll stay another year, no problem, but I'm not signing another deal," because he could he could come into the same sort of category that Harry Kane does, where
then I think the club have to sell him.
Yeah,
we can't lose money on him, and we can't afford to let him go on a free. If West Ham are offered 100 million in the summer for him, then we have to take it, because 100 million for a club like us is a lot of money. But look, you don't know what's going to happen yet. There could, with David Moyes rumoured to be leaving in the summer, you don't know what manager's going to come in. The manager that might come in might have new ideas and players that he wants to bring in. That might excite Declan Rice. He might think, do you know what? I might stay around for another year or two. You know, we're on a high. We've just won, touchwood. If we win the European Cup, we've just won a trophy. We're in the Europa League. You know, let's go again. Let's try to get this club into another semi-final or a final for 3 years in a row. Football's a funny game. You know, we're all sitting there thinking, yeah, Declan's definitely going. But people have been saying that for the last 2 or 3 seasons. And he's still here. And he's captain. And I think a big part is having Mark Noble in the background. You know, the first person Declan Rice mentioned in his interview last night was Nobes. He said, I just spoke to Nobes. So they are working closely together. So, look, personally, I think, yeah, he will leave the football club. And, you know, as I said, he will go with everyone's blessing. And we all wish him the best in the future. I'd rather him go abroad. I'd rather him go to Madrid because I don't want to see him play for any other club in the Premier League. There's only 2 clubs that I think that he will go to, and that will either be Manchester City or Manchester United. I think if Manchester United have got the money, if they get the new owners and they sign players like Harry Kane, Declan Rice, I think he'll be more suited to Man United, if I'm honest. But yeah, let's hope that he don't and he stays forever.
I think you're right. I think Chelsea are sort of out of the running, you know, because they're not going to be Champions League level. You know, they're in a right 2-8 at the minute. And
got another 5 more games on top. What's left? They could have been a Championship club, let alone a Champions League team.
You know, that's the crazy thing. So I think they're sort of out of the running. I think that would have been his ideal destination. You know, to go back there and you know stick it up a couple of people that kicked him out the door the last time. You know,
but why would you want to go to Chelsea and play for an owner that's doing what he's doing? You know, sacking managers left, right, and centre, walking in the changing room. You know, Lampard sits there and smiles at his press conferences, saying, "Yeah, I like it." He don't like that. He don't like a owner of a football club walking into a changing room dictating what he should do and shouldn't do. No, you can't be doing that as an owner of a football club. You let the manager get on with it, and then if it ain't going well, you make that decision. You don't go into the change room after a game and start telling them, "Oh, you need to do this, you need to do that."
That's mate. That's the problem with a lot of these modern football owners. They want going
on to that ownership idea, but that's a recipe for disaster, in my opinion. You know, they're not football people. You know, and
that's what I think is going on at Chelsea now. Too much interference with the ridiculous signings they've made and the ridiculous amounts of money that was spent with the silly contracts. It's mental, mate.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy.
What are you shaking your head for? Oh, I thought he was disagreeing with you, Scott Gagnon.
Well, for this, we'll take some comments. So,
yeah, go on, Scott. Read them out.
When they come up, here they come. There we go. Robert says a trophy is a trophy. That's obviously talking about the Conference League.
Amen to that.
My computer's a bit slow tonight. Phil Brown says not a chance. I presume that's on Rice signing another deal and staying around. Rob says even though Rice's stand will take a lot, but winning the Europa Conference League and standing Premier will go a long way. The club will have to show ambition in the summer, and feel ambition in the summer. I feel too.
I honestly think that just going on that point a little bit. Listen, there isn't no. We spent a lot of money in the summer. You know, in terms of like ambition, we've probably showed the most ambition that we've showed for a long time. In terms of, you know, the transfer market that we had, it's just everything around it, everything around the club in terms of like where we are and how big a job it actually is to, you know, Chelsea is showing it in a minute. You can't bring too many players in. We bought a lot of players in the summer, and you know, it just shows you how much of a rebuild it's going to be. And unfortunately, you know, and I've said this a million times, we won't go into all the ins and outs, but with these owners, we'll never progress because they'll never, you know, they're too sentimental with some people. They're giving people contracts just for the sake of giving them contracts. They haven't got winners' mentalities. They've got business mentalities, and business mentalities is what a lot of these, you know, that's what the Chelsea chairman has got, business mentalities. You know, a lot of these clubs are becoming businesses, unfortunately. You know, we're going to have to be lucky to get someone in that sort of ambition.
Yeah, and with going on with the summer signings, it's taken a little while for a lot of players to settle into the club. But you look at Lucas Paqueta the last few games. And the thing is, the difference between the beginning of the season and now is that players are starting to get on his level. You know, when he's doing the little flicks around the corners, they're starting to get to these balls now.
Mm-hmm.
Where earlier in the season there was nowhere near them. And you know, when you get players like that, you know, last night his penalty, like we're sitting there, we see him do the little run. We're not used to seeing players do that at West Ham. And it makes you nervous, but that's the confidence the players got, you know. You've also got players like Ben Rama when they're on form, you know, they're entertaining, they're a joy to watch, and that's what we've been lacking a lot this season. And when you look at the subs that we brought on last night, you know, I'll be honest with you, I said to Nicky at the time, I would have left Declan Rice on an extra 10 minutes longer because I just still had that West Ham mentality that we're 4-1 up, but we're going to fuck it up somehow. So, but you look, you bring on Danny Ings, Cornet, Downs, you know, these are good players, you know. So this has sort of been a transition season, getting these players in and settled, and it's taken a lot longer than what we've won. But if we can build on this squad, as Nicky said, get rid of some of the, I don't want to call them deadwood, but like the Aaron Creswells and players like that, players that need to be moved on. You know, I'll be happy for Creswell to stay at the club, you know, just as a squad player, but we still need to bring in a position. The only reason I think he's been there a long time, and I think that, you know, he's been there 10 years next year. I'd like to see him, you know, maybe as a squad player, maybe play the odd cup game, you know, European game, but you don't know what he's like around the club.
I think we've got to get out of that mentality about he's been here a long time, just give him a contract.
I'd give him one more year just for his testimonial, just for his
testimonial.
No, you can't pay things like that, man.
Honestly,
he's been here 10 years.
At the end of the day, he's like, with all due respect, you know, if he's playing at the top level, if he's playing like a Ronaldo, and Aaron Cresswell's been a good servant, and I love Aaron Cresswell, and and I'm not saying it's about the person, I'm saying it's about the player. If you want to get out of this, you know, this mentality, we have to stop giving these players. We've done it with Zabaleta. You know, he had a couple of good years with. I'll give him one more year. Even the fans were fucking guilty of that. Even we were guilty of it. You know, we have to get out of that mentality. Once that player is done, he's done. You know, stop wasting money, stop wasting squad places on. You know, I'd rather see a Scholes come in and develop in that position rather than giving people like.
Yeah, no, that's what I mean. I'm happy to see players come in, and when I say like Aaron Creswell staying, I mean if he knows that he's hardly going to play, but he's just happy to be around the squad, you know, and he wants to finish off his career as a West Ham player, a bit like what a few players have done. Ginger Pele, you know, let him do it just for one more year. You know, I'm happy with that. But as long as there are players like Ollie Scholes. You know, if we do get someone else in, Emerson's been brilliant the last few games. He's starting to show some real good form. He's getting that connection down the left wing, you know, with Ben Rama in particular. So yeah, no, I'm happy for. Obviously, I want to see us bring in better quality. Yeah.
No, on touching what you're saying, mate, it's one of those where you want players like Scars to come through, but having someone like Creswell, he's stepped up a bit in the last couple of games he's played. He like the whole back floor against Arsenal, he had a part to play in conceding them 2 goals. But his performances over the last couple of games has indicated why he's still decent around the squad. And if you've got Emerson, who's more of an attacking left back, and you've got Ollie Scholes coming through, who you want to bring into the side and adapt. It's always good to have a senior sort of backup that if we pick up a knock or if we pick up an injury where a player's going to be missing, you've got a player that can step in. You know, and with Creswell, he can step in. He's not a starter, but he can step in and play if there's an injury. A bit like with, like you said, with Zabaleta. Zabaleta was never a starter when we kept him on and played a lot more than what he should have done. But if we needed a player to come in for one game, he was a bit like a Bonner. You know,
I'll tell you what, how good was Zuma last night?
Solid, mate.
Won everything. Won everything in the air. Do you know, it was a joy to watch last night, Kurt Zuma. You know, and this is where we need our big players to step up now. And get us out of this relegation fight. And the last few weeks, I said it after the Arsenal game. I can see fight in this team now. I see it last night as well. The tackles are flying in more. Earlier in the season, if an opposition player got in one of our players' faces, no one would run in and like give it back to them. I've seen in the last few games, I've seen our players doing that. A bit like what we've done last year. Like, no one's bullying us,
Yeah.
So this is what we need: a little bit of fight in this team, and let's hope. Let's just, as I said, if we get a win at Bournemouth on Sunday, which will be difficult because they're in a good run of form, I think that's it for us. I think we'll stay up.
I've got a few more comments.
We've got to approach that.
Sorry, I've got a few more comments starred on the right.
Oh, sorry, yeah, go on. Sorry.
Yeah. Gary says, no way Rice will stay. He'll go in June. He can play in the Champions League.
June, not very specific.
Not fighting relegation. He will not win nothing with us. Joking owners, joke manager, top fans, but won't stay for that. This one here, Mark says, whether Declan goes, he'll always be in the hearts of true West Ham fans. Another one here, if West Ham get Mount, will he stay? I can't see it, to be honest.
I don't think we'd pay the money for Mount.
No. Roy May Jr., hello, mate. How you doing? Good to see you. If Deck was going to stay for one reason or another, do you think it would be adding talent and getting world-class manager? It'd help.
Yeah, I think we've got to be very careful with our next appointment. We've got to be very careful because you don't want to go down the sort of Pellegrini route. You've got to be very careful. It's going to be a big decision from the club, and it's got to be a manager that comes in and can attract good players. So, yeah, and he's got to be backed. He has to be backed. So hopefully we get a bit of money in the summer.
So if he does leave, my next comment, I say Brooksy 4567. Who do you lads think will captain when/if he leaves?
I think Aguerd's got the potential to be a good captain, a leader at the back. Looking around the team, I think
Zuma's definitely got.
Yeah, Zuma.
The abilities to do that. That's a good question.
I think it also depends who comes in because we might sign someone that comes in might be a leader, someone. But I think Aguerd would be a good shout, for a captain.
It was quite funny last night. He tried to give the armband to Antonio and he went, no, I'm going off. Then he tried to give the armband to Zuma and he went, well, I'm going off as well. So I think it was Souček in the end who finished up.
Souček nicked it.
But it was good to see him have a good performance as well last night. I think he sort of went under the radar a bit yesterday. I know he missed that chance where he hit the bar, but it was good to see him. He was even in linking up with the Olays.
He done couple of little cheeky passes, didn't he? Was that? Saucy ones.
Yeah, no. Do you know what? I'd love to have seen him score that goal last night, just to give him a little bit of confidence for the rest of the season. Yeah, no, he played it. He had a better second half than he did first half. But I think a lot of players did. That second half, I didn't see that second half coming. It was straight off from the start, straight from the kickoff in the second half. We just went for it, and we had so many chances. And then, obviously, we get the penalty. And then, as I said, we just that was it. The rest is history, mate. We're in the semi-finals. Could have been 5 or 6 last night.
We've got to stop the slow starts. We've got to stop the slow. In fact, last night wasn't a slow start. It's a slow middle of the game, middle of the half. We started quick. We've done exactly the same as we've done last week. Started quick, then stopped pressing for some reason. Stopped doing what we was doing that was working. Let them get back into the game. Let them have a few naughty little passes. Get I would say a decent goal, but I think Aguerd could have done a lot better with that. He should have just stuck his head on it. And then we start playing again. And it's I think it's mental because I think the last couple of games, the Arsenal and this one, has showed how good a team we are. When when them goals, when we started getting that confidence, and we saw it against Forest as well. And this is what worries me when You know, when we see Forest, when we get going, once they start thinking, right, you know, there is all the pressure's off. They start to play and they start to look like a real team, like a real dangerous side again. You know, they start to look like they're going to go score goals. We could have had an hatful last night. We could have had 10 last night, to be quite honest with you. We hit the bar, we hit the post. You know, Bowen had a couple of chances and, you know, he had one ruled off. You know, and we saw that against Forest. And that's what worries me sometimes about the Moyes effect, you know, and I will come back to him. Although, you know, he didn't do nothing wrong yesterday. I don't think I think subs were at the right time, killed the game off nicely. But don't tinker with it now. You know, let them play because we need points. We need points. We ain't got the luxury of having a cushion in this league at the moment. You know, it's so tight down there still, and we need to pick up them wins as quickly as we can. If you say we get a win against Bournemouth, we're in good form. We're in good form, and we haven't beat them there for a while. I don't think.
It's not been a happy hunting ground, that place, is it?
No. Although, you know, different players and all that sort of thing when they was last in the league, but you know, it's not an easy place to go. Bournemouth. It's not going to be an easy place to go. Gary O'Neill's got them playing very good football. We need to start that game in the confidence that we had yesterday when we finished that game. And that's what we didn't do from Forest. You know, it's the perfect game. It's the perfect game to come into because they're a relegation rival. You know, they're going to feel confident coming to us, so they might open up a little bit. And we saw once Arsenal started opening up, we give them problems.
Yeah, I agree, mate. I mean, I watched like Bournemouth last week and they was 2-1 up against Spurs and they conceded a late equaliser. And they could have just thought, yeah, let's take the point. It's a good point, but they didn't give up and they went for it and ended up getting the winner. And as you know, Tottenham's a hard place to go to get 3 points, especially when you're down the bottom. But yeah, Gary O'Neill has got them playing good football and they've picked up. I'll be honest with you, 3 or 4 weeks ago, mate, I thought they was gone. Same, like, look at Crystal Palace. Couple of wins and you move right up there. And now you're not even talking about Crystal Palace being in a relegation battle. So it's so tight down there, and from we have to approach this game on Sunday like it's a cup final. You know, I know that's a cliche thing to say, isn't it? Like every game's a cup final, but it is at this stage of the season when you're down there. I wish we was floating about mid-table, can't go down, or we're comfortable and we can really have a crack at this Conference League. But we can't afford to. We still have to play our strongest teams, and that's what I said to you last night, Scott. I think drawing 1-1 out in Ghent last week, a lot of people were upset with that result. I think that was the best result for us because if we'd have won that game 2-0, last night we'd have seen a weaker team. But last night, he went for it. You know, he thinks we've got to get this done. And that's it. We're in another semi-final. And for us to reach 2 European semi-finals is a massive achievement. You know, whatever you think of this competition, for us to be, you know, how many times have we got into Europe and we've not even got through the knockout rounds, like under Bilic and that, and we've been a laughing stock. You know, these last 2 years, you look at the results and the performances and the goals we've scored. I think before last night, I think we'd scored 26 goals in this campaign already. So, you know, we are the favourites to win it. You know, it's our trophy to lose. It's our trophy to lose.
They are going to be a tough side out, Mark.
Of course they are.
You know what else I'm getting a bit annoyed with as well? The downplaying of this tournament.
It drives me nuts.
Because for a team like us, this tournament is, you know, is a big it's a stepping stone. You know, the media narrative around this tournament, you know, and it used to be with the Europa League as well. It used to be with that, you know, even, you know, before the Conference League was invented and that Europa League, no one wants to be in it, blah, 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 and all this. And yeah, you get the fucking raw end of the deal. You have to play Thursday, Sunday, where they you know, the other teams play Tuesdays. You do get the raw end of the deal, but it is what it is, and you have to take it. But you know, for a club like us and for fans like us who have been starved, you know, and to see people like Nottingham Forest, you know, downplay it, and you know, people like that. There was an Aston Villa fan on the Twitter earlier that was, you know, he said, you see this reaction from the Rice goal last night. You know, and I just hope we get in some sort of European competition. For some people, it is about getting into European competition, just competing against European competition for fans, you know, for players, for staff, to get that little taste of it, to get that little taste of what European
The
competition
thing
is
is, with
about.
Nottingham Forest fans like laughing at this competition, deep down they'd love to be in Europe. The only time they've ever been to Europe in the last few years is when they play Cardiff or Swansea away, and they go to Wales for the day. It's moments like last night. You look at it and you see the reactions of the memories we've been able to do. One thing I've always wanted to do is follow West Ham over. I've got so many mates that like support Chelsea, Arsenal, Tottenham, and for the years they've been going like. My mate went to Real Madrid last week to watch Chelsea at the Bernabeu, and he's sending me photos during the day of him and his mates in the pub and things like that, and he's been doing that for years. And I thought that's what I want, because it's all about the experience, going away with your mate. It's the whole travel and having the laughs and the memories, and of course the result matters. But going to Frankfurt last year in a European semi-final was, I can still now I can remember everything about that trip. Seville. They're memories for life, and we don't get that. We don't get them often. So every year I want to be in Europe. Everyone spoke about the next step for this football club. This is the next step, being in Europe. Listen, I'd rather be in the Europa League. I'd rather be in the Champions League, but it's not going to happen. But if we win this competition, we'll be back in the Europa League next year, and we can play bigger and better teams again. But people talk about the teams. Look at the teams we knocked out last season. We knocked out Seville.
Yep.
Look what they've done to Man United last night. We knocked out Lyon last year. We took Frankfurt all the way. These are big clubs. Respected clubs. I mean, Tottenham fans are laughing at, we beat a pub team last night. Ghent knocked them out of the Europa League the other year.
That's it. Short-term memories, mate. And that's the thing. At the end of the day, we've said this all along. It's a European competition. We go on to win this in 10 years' time. We'll be talking about when we won the Conference League and got 3 years back-to-back European football. When have we ever been able to say we've had 3 years back-to-back European football? For a club like ours.
Yeah, I think the 60s was the last time we got into two European semi-finals. It's a long time for this football club.
Yeah.
As I said, look, only one team can win the Premier League, only one team can win the FA Cup, only one team can win the League Cup, one team Champions League, right? So there's 6 trophies up for grabs. If we're one of them, what a great season. Who cares what you're winning?
Exactly. That's it.
Man United. Look at Newcastle's fans' reaction to getting in the League Cup final. They loved it. Everyone, all these big top 4, top 6, whatever fans, they downplayed the League Cup. Look at Newcastle; it meant the world to their fans, and that's why I wish they would have beat United to have that. Their memories of winning a cup, because it'll mean more to them than United fans winning it.
Yeah,
us winning this competition. People can laugh at it. All these like when I see some of these West Ham fans on Twitter and they're calling it whatever the Papa John's Trophy and
Tin Pot Cup and all that.
The Tin Pot Cup, and I'm like, mate, you'd be the first one crying if you didn't get a ticket for the final if we got there.
Yep, 100%, 100%, mate.
The club should do more. Why don't we? It's only a 20,000 capacity. Why ain't the club getting a 60,000 tickets and we can all sit on the roof? Shit like that.
But
enjoy it. Enjoy these times, because we haven't had these moments for years. So just enjoy them. Don't worry what competition it is. Enjoy the moment. Enjoy saying, yeah, we're in a semi-final of a European Cup. Yeah, we're in a final. We've won a trophy. Enjoy it. Don't knock it. Enjoy it.
And I think what you says there, I've got a couple more starred ones, but I'm going to go with this one first. Geordie Toon for life. Would fans rather be in a competition they realistically won't win, or be in a competition that they can win? Now, for me, that's the perfect thing, because yes, I'd love to see West Ham play in the Champions League, but when they've got a squad and team good enough to play in the Champions League, would I want to see West Ham right at this minute playing Champions League? Hell no. Because you're gonna turn up places like Real Madrid and like Barcelona or like PSG. You're gonna get your arse handed. I don't want to see us do that.
Thing is, Scott. Sorry, mate. The thing is, when we was in that Europa League last season, when that group got drawn, No one give us a chance. We're going to finish bottom. We smashed the group. In fact, we smashed it that much. The last game, we could afford to put our under 18s out,
And only lose 1-0.
and only lose 1-0. Then go on, oh, you got Seville, we're out. No, you're through. Oh, you got Lyon, they're not going to make it through. We're through. Frankfurt, it was our own downfall, not signing enough in January, Creswell getting sent off, didn't help, players were tired, you never know. Look when Leicester got in the Champions League, they got to the quarterfinals.
But I'd rather us be more prepared to enter
of course you would. Yeah, of course. Like like if we go into that Europa League, if we win this competition, get in the Europa League next season, it's going to attract better players.
Yep,
it will.
Yep.
European football will. It'll attract players from overseas. They'll think they want to come over, and then they'll look at the big nights at West Ham, in Europe, and they'll want to be a part of that. So. Yeah, just as I said, mate, just enjoy it, because we could go years without even experiencing anything like this ever again.
I think it's mad. I think it's mad how people would, every team's aim, not realistic aim, but aim, in the back of their minds, every single team should go into a Premier League season thinking we can win this. Every single team. Somewhere along the line, there should be someone saying, like, however unlikely it is, we're in it to try and win it. We're in it to try and win it.
Thing is, mate, look, Chris just said there, do you think us beating Lyon attracted Paqueta? It might have done, because he played at London Stadium last season. So there might be players that we've played this season that we might be able to attract, because there have been some good individual players for some of the teams we've played. Not so much in the beginning, but...
But this is what I'm saying. Like, you have to go into competitions thinking you can win it. However unlikely it is. Are we prepared enough for Champions League? No, of course we're not. Would I like to see West Ham go to Real Madrid? Of course I would. You know what I mean? But realistically, going into a competition that you can compete in, that you can compete well in. I mean, I think there's too many football clubs now that don't want to compete, including ours in the Premier League. How many times you see these, these so-called big clubs and the big clubs, go into these FA Cup games against lower league opposition, and they play their second string team, like FA Cup, League Cup, and all that. They don't want to compete in them. The Premier League. I think there's been too much onus put on. I heard it today on TalkSport. I think it's madness. I think it's fucking madness that they're saying, like, they've got a realistic opportunity of winning this trophy, but the precedent has to be staying in the Premier League. Why does it? Why does the precedent? Yeah, I know that's where the money is. I know that's where the players is. I know all of that sort of thing. But why does coming 17th in a competition take precedent over winning a trophy? Isn't that what sport and competition is about? Winning, winning something. I think it's all sport, all competition. Why are we? I know it's money. I want to see the whole thing sort of reset and started again, where, like, it isn't so, reliant on the Champions League and staying in the Premier League. I'd like to see more even money distributed across the league so people can compete, and it makes competition again. Competition's dying. It's dying. It's being bought out by billionaire, franchise owners that want us, that want their brand, and the likes of David Sullivan, unfortunately, is, they're happy to take the £10 million less that they get for finishing 15th than they do for winning the league. That's unfortunately the way it is. You know what I mean? Like, it's dying. They're just trying to, make people rich. That's what the Premier League is about. But at the heart of it, what the fuck? If that's what, and this is why we've had so many protests, and so many clubs are upset, because it should be about winning something. Can the likes of West Ham go away to Nottingham Forest or whoever it would be, back in the day when they beat us 6-1 when they was in the Championship, and play their kids? Absolutely fucking not. Can we afford, when David Moyes first took over, to go in a quarter-final against an Arsenal team that played a second-string team and play a second-string team ourselves? Absolutely fucking not. That is insulting us. That's insulting the fans. That's insulting the players. That's insulting competition. And this is what we've got to try and do, get competition back. You know, it's difficult because there's so many billionaires. So that means the likes of us should be trying to compete and to win the trophies that we can win.
Yeah,
We've got a realistic chance of winning, because it gives your players you know, we go into this semi-final against Alkmaar in a better place than we was last year, because you go into a semi-final of European competition. Players never played in a semi-final of European competition ever before. Yeah. Now we're going against Alkmaar. Now, you know, we have played in a semi-final. So, you know, hopefully we learn from our mistakes. You know, players like Declan Rice have played in European Cup finals and, you know, World Cups and things. You know, there's, you know, you have to, that's how teams and clubs and that progress. That's why the likes of, I don't mean to be rude, that's why the likes of Tottenham and things can't get out of semi-finals of cups, because they're not, you know, they're not prepared. They don't know what it takes to win them. You know, it's all about mentality.
I totally agree, mate. And I think that what happened to us last season will benefit us this season, because I think we would have learnt a lot. And we're not going to take this team lightly, because they are a decent team and it is going to be tough. But I've been saying it. I think over 2 legs, I think we can beat any team. And I think that if we approach the first leg at home and get a good result, you know, to take out there, you know, last year Frankfurt, you know, that early goal killed us. It killed the atmosphere in the stadium, and there was a lot of nerves around that stadium because everyone just wanted us to get to that final, wanted us to do well, you know. But this year, I think it's different, and I think that over 2 legs, I think we can progress, and it'll be massive for this football club to get to a final, and there'll be so many people going out there. There'll be fans lucky enough to get tickets. Fans without tickets will go out there to support the boys. You know, there'll be houses up all around East London, Essex, up and down the country. Whoever, if you support West Ham, you know, glued to the telly. There'll be clubhouses, there'll be pubs packed, and it will mean so much to everyone. Everyone connected with West Ham, the fans, the players, the manager. Look, ex-players, everyone that's got a little bit of love for West Ham, you know, will enjoy that moment. And look, you can see behind me, I've got pictures of Bobby Moore, you know, people that lifted trophies for this club. I've got a 1980 FA Cup final, you know, and they're still celebrating now because we don't win that much. And I want to add to this wall a picture of our players lifting that Conference League trophy at the end of this season, and that goes on the wall, and that's memories for life. Because look, you can struggle during the league, during the season, but you can't buy memories like that. You know, they're memories for life. Yeah. You know, and that's what we want. That's what we not that we deserve. No one deserves anything in football. You got to earn it, but it's what we want. You know, there's generations of fans that have not seen us win anything apart from the odd playoffs and the Intertoto Cup, the Betway Cup, and fucking, you know,
took us long enough to win that.
Yeah, you know what I mean. But we just need it. We really need it.
That's it, exactly, mate. Exactly. You know, you're banging on right what you're saying there. It is
banging. Never my banging.
And them players that you've got in there, like you said, the likes of Bobby Moore, that's what made them true legends of the football club. That they won trophies with the football club. You know, and I'd love to see that for Declan Rice. The player that he is, the player that he's going to become, you know, to lead us to European glory, to win our first major trophy in 40-odd years, it'd just be huge.
Can I just take a couple more comments just before we start wrapping up? Alfie says, where's the podcast gone? Dom left, I explained this last week, Don left unexpectedly. We've got no co-host, obviously playing 2 games a week. It's been hard to try and get someone in. We've got a new co-host now. It will be back. It will be back this week. Roy May Jr. says, did anyone notice on TV when Thornhill's rocket that ball into the stands? We were talking about this last night, right? A couple of fans were pretty pissed. One of them apologised post-match. Very unlike him to do that.
He did. He come straight over as soon as the final whistle finished. He came straight over because it was not far from where I sit, and took off his shirt and gave it to the person in the crowd. I don't know whether he hit him with a ball or it sort of nearly hit him with a ball, but he did come over and apologise.
I think it was a bit of frustration from 4-0. Someone was saying, "Oh, he was trying to clear it in the stands." Well, why would you do that when you're 4-1 up?
No,
it was a poor touch. It ran out of play. He was meant to whack it against the hoardings and he's obviously overhit it, and it's hit. Unfortunately, it's hit the kid. But when you're a player, and you know, it was the crowd's reaction. Obviously, brought Fornals' attention to it. We know Fornals ain't that type of person. You know, he's one of them ones that is usually smiling. He's frustrated he ain't playing. You know, he probably thought he would have got a chance last night from the start. You know, it's not been his season, but yeah, look, if he goes over, gives the kid his shirt, and it's all forgotten about. That's what it's about.
Exactly.
Paul G says Burnley Cornet equals. He donated $4.99 by the way. But thank you very much, Paul.
Cheers, mate.
Cornish finest, Cadbury flakes, strawberry sauce, and sprinkling nut. Our Cornet, Aldi value vanilla in a soggy cone. I think that's very unkind to him and unfair.
Yeah, what's wrong with Aldi?
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with Aldi for a start, but he's had a long-term injury and he's not played for a lot of the season. Give him a little chance, you know.
He needs a goal, doesn't he? He needs a goal.
Yeah, he needs a goal. Yeah.
You know what it is? I think he's had a few opportunities now in the recent games where he goes through one-on-one. He's frustrating himself. You know, once he gets that first goal and he settles a bit more, I think he's got potential to be a really good player for us. And I think next season we'll probably see it a lot more. But I think he's still got a big part to play in this season. I said the same with Yarmolenko last year. And I think maybe a Cornet winner in the
semi-final winner away. Or one in the final.
One in the final, mate, and then everyone will forget the soggy cone Cornet, the Aldi version, and they'll be all lapping it up like Murkoff's ice cream in Canning Town.
Yeah, mate. I don't care what anybody says about this. If we win it, we're in Europe 3 years on a bounce, which is historic for us, absolutely. And no matter what this tournament, silverware is silverware, and we're only the best in London. Good show, boys. What do you think? Your thoughts on Paquet? I think we covered that earlier, didn't we? I think he's really starting to show what he is about. You know, the thing that excites me is that next season they will be better. You know, once they've settled in, they will be settled. They know everyone. They'll be settled in the city. You know, families will be settled. They will be better players. You know, even Scamacca, even Cornet, they'll all be better players.
He's our Brazilian magnifico.
And he's at the moment, you know, I think he's going to be the difference between us in the next sort of 8-9 games. I think you're going to start to see his class.
Yeah, I agree.
Totally agree. Totally agree.
We start the show. And in a perfect world, Nicky, but unfortunately finish halfway up the Premier is better than a club than winning the FA Cup. Don't care what's better for the clubs in terms of finances, mate. I care what's better for the fans. And that's what, you know, we should be aspiring to. That's why we, you know, you need to fight these owners because they will sit there and win nothing.
No, they will. A fight with David Sullivan in the car park.
No,
punching your knee.
He'd fucking knock me out, probably. He'd probably give me 2 swings.
Spin your jaw, mate.
No, but that's what I'm saying. Like, you know, that's why, you know, when people laugh at us, it's not good enough. It's not good enough just to make them money. You know, that we're not here to pay our money to make them money. We're here to watch our team get to glory, and that's where it's lost. It's lost in the game these days. We need to get it back.
Speaking of money, you've got until Wednesday to do your ticket for the first leg.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, the first leg tickets are on sale, and we are going to Holland, Brian. We are going to Holland. No, we've done it all today. I've done it all. I fucking booked it all up, mate.
I know.
That's it.
But my work don't know yet.
Oh, you might be honest. Oh, you're sick.
He ain't going to be sick now.
Oh, mate, look, nothing's stopping me, Gan. Trust me. Yeah, mate, look, to be part of it, to be out there is going to be massive, and really looking forward to it. Really looking forward to the trip, and just hope we can do it. Just hope we can do it and break that semi-final curse, because last year hurt. It hurt a lot losing to Frankfurt, and yeah, it's going to be massive. I can't wait. Can't wait. There's going to be loads of West Ham out there taking over Amsterdam. Love it.
Elias was one of the fan cams yesterday. Elias, you might have just tuned in. When I rest the fan cams from last night going out, unfortunately, we've had an SD card blow up, basically unsalvageable. I've been trying to do it all day. Can't get them back.
We even lost our match reaction as well.
We lost the match reaction. We lost a lot of fan cams and stuff last night, which is it's unfortunate. Look, and look, if you've come over and taken your time to come and see us, you know, we really do apologise. Sometimes, you know, it's one of them weeks where everything's gone wrong because we normally use a certain method. We've broken the wire, so we've had to use another method that's broken down. When I come on here tonight, the camera's broken down. It's got one of them seasons, mate. You You know, everything needs a refresh. That's what
I
it is.
blame Dan and Graham because they're not here and they can't argue it, so they get the
Yeah,
blame.
exactly. But yeah, it's one of them things. It's, you know, every now and then it happens, and you know, we just have to take it on the chin. But we will be back at Bournemouth on Sunday. We will be back at Liverpool next week, isn't it? Wednesday.
Yeah, well, we've got the Youth Cup final on Tuesday.
Youth Cup final.
Liverpool
Yeah, if you're going
Wednesday.
over the Youth Cup final, come and see us.
Yes,
Come say hello.
it's all going on, mate. All thick and fast. Business end of the season. Love it. But yeah, we're being Bournemouth on Sunday. We're one of the lucky ones to actually get tickets. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Not got a great record at Bournemouth. I think we've won once there in our last 7 visits or something like that, and that was when we had Dimitri Payet. Remember that game when
scored that free kick.
banged in the top corner, and Valencia scored that brilliant goal as well. So I'm just hoping that we can get the result, mate. But I'm looking forward to it. Day out. Well, I say by the seaside. We won't be by the seaside unless we get there early, Nick, and you fancy bringing your speedos and your bucket and spade.
Let's go, mate. Let's go. It better be hot because it's been bloody freezing of late.
It's been,
I think it's meant to be
all right Saturday.
Yeah, 15 on Sunday or something like that. That's tropical weather for us in England at the moment.
Yeah. Right, let's wrap this up then. Thank you very much for joining us on this edition of West Ham Fan TV's Friday Night Pint. Again, we'll be building up towards the Bournemouth game tomorrow. Did you do a preview, Scott?
We're doing it. Me and Ryan doing it straight after this.
There we go. So it'll be up tomorrow. I'm going to be editing it all night. You know, it never stops. We've had a busy month, but we've had a good month this month, to be quite honest with you. It's been enjoyable. So yeah, we're going to carry on going into May, and then towards the business end of the season. But once again, thank you very much for subscribing. Thank you very much for tuning in tonight. Thank you very much for your comments. We very much appreciate it. We'll be building up towards Bournemouth. One thing left to say.
Come on, Lions.